Last week I did a video about cheating and how bad it is, and I don't think anybody's going to disagree with it. At least publicly disagree with it. But based on the comments I read in that video, I felt the need to make a full clarifying video talking about cheating because the world is not binary. Let's begin by bringing people up to speed on a concept I've hit in past videos. The internet is a binary culture for the most part. Right or wrong, with or against, 1 or 0. There is no in-between in the world of the internet. It's a form of stereotyping at best, and it's more like a tool of segregation along arbitrary lines, actually. It makes life a lot easier when there's only 2 options. But the world is in black and white. It's all shades of Damn it, creature! Sorry! But this is important because online, this is how we look at cheating. You're either a dirty cheater or you're not. But it's never that clean. Let's start with a very basic concept of cheating. We could define cheating as working outside the rules to gain an advantage over an opponent. And people would say things like, well, everyone who cheats needs to be banned from a game, or worse if my comments are to be believed from the last episode. And there's no wiggle room. You cheat, you're punished by the most draconian means possible. So what about hardware? Let's say I'm playing on my computer at the minimum hardware specs and someone else is playing on the highest end rig available. Well, they have an advantage that technically isn't in the rules, and it's an advantage that I don't have, and therefore the rules only cover the minimum hardware, they're working outside the rules, and therefore they're cheating, they should be banned. Or how about using things like special gaming mice, third-party controllers, analog anti-ghosting keyboards, or players who have high-end gear and then run minimal graphic settings to get the maximum performance? The rules don't cover that, therefore they should be banned. I'm willing to bet that a lot of you just sat up in your chair and yelled bullshit, and you'd be absolutely right, because if I started reporting people for cheating because they had nicer hardware, I'd get laughed off the server. But when you think about it, this fits the definition that we just had for cheating. It's an advantage outside of the rules. So therefore, in internet binary culture, they're cheaters and they should be punished, right? No, of course not. That's daft. So we start to tweak. So, what if cheating is gaining an advantage using knowledge that is normally unobtainable? You know, like being able to see where the players' locations are in the other team, or being able to intercept their communications. So clearly that's cheating, right? Well, then okay, screen watching is cheating. This might actually be a lost art now that couch multiplayer is pretty much gone, but back in the day, glancing down to see what your opponent is doing, where they are, what they have, huge advantage. So is it cheating if both players can do it? Is it cheating if only one does and the other one doesn't? Or how about people who surf Twitch trying to find opponents? And yes, this happens. It's called stream sniping. And it's really common in games like Hearthstone. Officially, companies have no stance on it, but depending on how you read the rules, it's an unfair advantage. Information is power, and getting it from someone else's screen, well, obviously that's cheating. Actually related to that, when I was playing World of Warcraft, there were add-ons that were almost mandatory to have. You had to have deadly boss mods, a DPS meter, and a threat meter of some kind. And I knew raid groups who wouldn't let you in if you didn't have these 3 things. Now these are designed to give players information they can't get otherwise without a true mastery of the game and the ability to keep track of, clocks, tells, trash mobs, and all the other chaos going on the screen. Actually, how about World of Tanks mods? Several of those give me information that I can't easily get otherwise, like opponent reload times or whiteout scans to show dead tanks. Some even change the functionality of the game, like this one that kills the fire command for a few seconds on a freshly dead tank around an allied player. Now, in all of these cases, I'm getting information that normally I couldn't. Or at least I couldn't get it easily. So am I cheating when I'm doing this? Well, most of you are probably going to say no, because it's part of the game, even though it's not part of the game. Okay, well, what I mean is that it's not part of the UI that the designers made, but it's something that modders put in, and the designers haven't put in code to stop it. And I mean, some of these games even have entire folders where you can just drop add-ons right into it. So, I mean, it's just part of the gaming landscape, right? It's not cheating. You know, actually, we're going to come back to this. There's other things we need to cover first, like not playing the game. Every once in a while in Rocket League, someone is going to play the game just to blow up opponent cars. They're not even going for the ball, they're just going out for blood, oil, whatever. So is that cheating? Well, of course not. It's unsportsmanlike conduct, possibly, but it could also be a tactic.
Mind the gap.
It's something I find in Rocket League, it's retaliation demolition stuff. When you blow someone up, for some reason they absolutely have to blow you up before time runs out. It's like divine diktat levels of desperation here. So it's really easy to get one or more players off their game by just gunning for them. It's a tactic you can use, and it's not cheating, it's just underhanded. Actually, you know what? Let's double down on that sign and take a drink, because this is relevant too. Back in the day, one of the big games that I went to in Wisconsin, they had this very specific rule. If you had an armband on your arm, you could lie about your team color.
What? Blue? Oh, dude, I'm sorry.
Another event I went to, they said we didn't have to put our armbands on our arms, so I put the armband tape on the gun, I covered that with my hand, and I would just walk up behind opponents.
Barrel tag, please walk away quietly so I don't have to shoot you.
Alright. Oh yeah, they'd bitch about it when I did stuff like that. I was called every name in the book. I was dishonest, I was a cheater, I was an asshole. I actually made somebody so mad at me one time, he actually chased me off the field to fight me. It's a long story, we're not going to get into that here though. But funny enough, whenever their team would do something dishonest like that, like wear their armbands underneath their shirts or in their jerseys, or they would wear the same color yellow at the referees, and then we'd complain about that, we were just told shut the fuck up. You know, actually we're going to come back to that too. There's also the realm of unintentional cheating. You don't see this in gaming as much as real sports. So, okay, let me give you an old example related to what I was just talking about. During this event, the field didn't mark its boundaries. Now, normally fields put up these yellow surveyor's tape or stuff like that to mark out the out-of-bounds area. Now, in this game, all I was issued was a badly photocopied map and a hand-drawn with landmarks, and only the locals knew about what was in and what was out. So at one point, I had flanked through what I now know was out of bounds, and I didn't even know it. Technically, that's cheating, and had they eliminated me, I'd have been angry, but you know, rules are rules. But for the most part in the Woods game, a referee would say, well, just go back 150 feet, jump back in, play on. And as a player, I've said to many opponents, yeah, just jump back in bounds, because, well, not everyone knows the local boundaries. No harm, no foul, play on. So, with that in mind, let me lay out a scenario for you. A player is caught cheating by a server-side bot that detected a trigger bot-style cheat and prevents friendly fire. The player is banned from the game for using this mod, but he makes an appeal to the powers that be. Now, scenario A. The player is new to the game, he found the mod on Curse, he thought it was cool, and the appeal is that he didn't know it was illegal because, well, the mod didn't say so in the description. Scenario B. The player is a live streamer, and he's playing on Twitch from a friend's computer. The appeal is that he didn't know the mod was on the computer, and he was distracted running his stream and all that other stuff, he just didn't notice. Scenario C. The player is a seasoned pro, and it took place during a qualifying round of a tournament played on an online format. The appeal is that he knows the other team is using the same mod, it's just that he's the only one that got caught. Out of those three scenarios, which would you be more sympathetic towards? Which would you believe more? In the binary internet culture that we live in, they all broke the rules, so they should all be punished, right? Ignorance is not an excuse. Except in the real world, ignorance is an excuse, which is why people wouldn't have any sympathy towards Player C in those, because Player C should have known better. You know, in a criminal case, it's not enough to just prove someone did the crime. You also have to prove intent. See, that's the difference between something like armed robbery and mindlessly carrying a candy bar out the door by accident. So I think this is actually what defines most cheating. It's the intent. I think this is why games like World of Tanks and World of Warcraft allow some mods, because they know that the intent from the players is not to break the rules. But that said, they do have rules on what kind of mods are allowed. You can make mods that enhance the gameplay, but not play the game for you. So if you don't have the intent to cheat, are you really cheating? And that might sound like I'm arguing semantics about this, but I'm not. This is a really important distinction that we have to make. But even then, all we're doing is we're just treating the symptoms, we're not really treating the root cause. One of the common reactions I got in the last video is that cheating's okay in a single-player game because you're not really affecting anyone else. Well, with more single players requiring always-on internet, that means that your score is being broadcast to the world, so like it or not, you're playing against the world. That and cheating to beat a game will give you a gamer score boost, and that's publicly accessible too, so there's a communal reward for cheating. But more to the point, gamers, all of us, we're saying cheating is okay. Oh sure, we say that with qualifications. Well, you know, cheating in single player only, that's okay. Well, you know, only if you're playing with your friends, or, well, maybe if you're just playing in a bot match. Well, only if the other team starts it. Only if you're trying to keep up. Only if you're trying to do it to end the game faster. We keep adding yet another qualification to make cheating acceptable. Cheating is rationalized. Cheating is okay, but only if you can explain it away. This isn't counting the rule bender. You remember I was talking about those guys who were wearing their armbands under their jerseys? Yeah, to their opponents they're cheaters, but to their teammates they're brilliantly playing within the rules. My technique of hiding my armband and walking up behind opponents, that's either cheating or balls of titanium brilliant. Who's right? Well, it depends on which side of the field you're on. This goes back to the whole fetish for winning. As long as you're winning, it doesn't matter if rules are being bent or broken. And if you're losing, well, it's, and I'm going to quote, all bullshit. It's binary. There is no in-between. Winners don't call out cheaters in their own team, and losers don't admit they got outplayed. And that needs to change. You know, one of the only ways to change that, I think, is to give players a reason not to cheat in the first place. Punishing a player with a ban, that's laughable these days, unless they have something to lose from their account. But the punishment approach, it's just not working, so I think it's time we rethink that. So perhaps the answer is we have to gamify fair play somehow, and I don't like this, because it feels manipulative to me, but how else do you neutralize the winning fetish? How else do you work around this whole cheat reflex? If any of you guys have any ideas on this one, leave a comment down below, because I would love to hear better ideas than what I got. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the show, give it a thumbs up because that helps us out a lot. You can also subscribe to the channel, absolutely free. You can check out one of the playlists below or a related show if you want to binge watch. And if you really like us, you can support us on Patreon. Thank you once again. There better not be munchkins outside that door.
Don't worry, they don't make red shoes in your size.
What?
What?